So when did you know that you were a writer, playwright? When did that discovery for you happen?
I mostly identified as a fiction writer until I was about 18, and I did a year at the University of Victoria in a creative writing program, and it was a great program in the sense that the first year of class that they had, you didn't really have an option about it. You had to do a year-long class where you were trying a whole bunch of different genres, including playwriting, poetry, fiction, and creative nonfiction. And I went in thinking that I was going to write fiction forever, and I came out being really in love with poetry and playwriting. So that was where I started writing my first plays.
What is it like being a young playwright in Canada?
So far, pretty fun. I just graduated from playwriting school in May. But other than that, most of the playwriting that I've done has been in Edmonton. And Edmonton's theater community is really open and excited about new work and about new people taking big risks. So in that sense, it's been very positive. But now that I'm done school and I've been trying to go out to different places and meet lots of new people, everyone that I have encountered so far has also been very friendly and warm when it's come to that too. So far, I would say that being a playwright in Canada, an emerging playwright in Canada, is really awesome.
Your script that won the Wildfire competition last year, Cleave, what has the development been like for that script, and how long did it take you to get to where it is now?
Well, I started it as my final project at the National Theatre School, so that was in about January 2 years ago, and then I worked on it within the context of school for about a year and a half, and part of that was that it, on top of having a dramaturg helping me with that, it went to full production with a director, Andrea Donaldson, who works at the Tarragon Theatre in Toronto, came on board and helped with that. And then after that, I had the pleasure of bringing it to a workshop in Washington, where I had a completely different team work on it. And it was really interesting to get to see how two really different teams of actors encountered it, and hearing what their questions were and what made sense and what didn't make no sense, or what made sense after they'd had a couple days to grapple with it. So that's been its life so far. I've also sent it out to a number of different companies, which is nice. It's kind of like my calling card play right now, but I haven't had any productions with it since then.
How was your experience specifically with Wildfire last year?
It was super positive. I got the reading that happened in Calgary. That was the first time that I've ever had work shared in Calgary. So it was a really cool experience to have my work being shared somewhere that I wasn't the one putting together sharing it, that somebody else took care of all of that for me. And also that it meant that in the months after that, I had lots of people who, I'd seen their work, but they've never seen any of my plays, and it was really awesome to have people approach me and say, "Oh, I heard this reading of yours. It was really amazing." That again was a great opportunity to get some exposure. The prize money that I got from it, I was able to immediately put into my next artistic endeavor. So that was really useful seed money for me. As a playwright, a big part of my job right now is sending out plays to different companies, and as well as my CV, and it makes a really big difference if the work that I'm sending out has a little something on it that says, by the way, I was involved in this competition, and the play was of interest to people, and they also believe maybe you should read it too. So as opposed to just sending it out with a synopsis, which is still hopefully enticing, but it's nice to have a bit of extra energy or an endorsement behind it.
What advice would you have for someone who's not sure whether to submit their work, or just advice for young writers in general?
Submit your work! Totally submit submit your work. Submit your work everywhere, even if you're pretty convinced that you're not going to get whatever the thing is. One, you never know. Two, even if you don't get that specific opportunity, there's always the chance like your work is being read, you don't know who it's being read by. There's a possibility that you may not be aware of it right now, but that might actually be you planting seeds for something that might germinate into something else later on. And also, like, Canada's theatre scene is not that big, so if your play is being read by somebody here, it means that your play is being read by somebody in the community. So, I would certainly recommend everybody should apply, especially because this particular competition, there's no charge, so there's no reason why. I think for a lot of people my age, myself included, if I see like a fee of like, I don't know, over like $20, I'm like, oh, that's multiple sandwiches. I can't afford that. But I mean, like, it's free, so you really, and you can submit by email. You don't even have to print it out, so you really have no reason not to apply.
Is there any last thoughts that you have just around playwriting or the competition, or anything you'd like to close with?
Writing plays is hard. This is a good way to get some support. I know that in my experience, the whole process was like just super like warm and encouraging, and I think you should get on board. Keep writing! It's so hard, but keep writing. When it's good, it's the best.